Hi, everybody. It's good to see you again. It's time for another Bible story with Dake. We're right now going through the book of Genesis, and we talked last time about how all the things in the world were made and how God made everything good, but that you were God's favorite part of creation. So now we're going into the terrible lie. That's the story for right now. The terrible lie. Dake, have you ever told a lie?
Yes.
You have. When did you tell a lie?
When you asked I took the chocolate?
When I asked if you took the chocolate and you said,
No.
was it a lie?
Yes.
Did you eat the chocolate?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for telling me the truth now. So that's what we're going to look at, is what happens next in this beautiful, perfect garden that God made. Adam and Eve lived happily together in their beautiful new home. And everything was perfect for a while. Until the day when everything went wrong. God had a horrible enemy, and his name was Satan. Satan had once been the most beautiful of all angels, but he didn't want to just be an angel. He wanted to be God. He grew proud and evil and full of nastiness, and God had to send him out and kick him out of heaven. Satan was seething with anger and looking for a way to hurt God. He wanted to stop God's plan, stop this love story right now. So he disguised himself as a snake and waited in the garden. Now, God had given Adam and Eve only one rule. Don't eat the fruit on that tree.
Which tree?
The one in the middle.
The big one?
The big one.
It was delicious?
Yeah, it looked delicious, but God said, there's trees everywhere you can eat fruit. You do not need to eat from there, so don't do it. And God says, because if you do, you'll think you know everything and you'll stop trusting me. And then all kinds of bad things will happen. Well, you see, God knew if they ate that fruit, they would think they didn't need him, and they would try to make themselves happy without him. But God knew there was no such thing as happiness without him, and life without him wouldn't be life at all. So as soon as the snake saw his chance, he slithered silently up to Eve.
Ew.
What?
I don't like snakes.
Well, snakes are part of God's creation too. This snake wasn't very good, but some people like snakes.
Do you?
I'm not a huge snake fan, but I don't hate them either. They're part of God's natural process of life.
Okay.
But God knew there was no such thing as happiness. Without him, there would be no life at all. So as soon as the snake saw his chance, came up to Eve and said, "Does God really love you? If he does, why won't he let you eat the nice, juicy, delicious fruit? Poor you. Perhaps God doesn't want you to be happy."
That's a lie.
That's the point. That is a lie. The snake's words hissed into her ears and sunk down deep into her heart like poison. Does God love me? Eve wondered. And suddenly she didn't know anymore. Just trust me.
Okay, that was creepy.
What was creepy?
You doing the hiss.
Me doing the hiss? I was just being the snake voice.
Don't do it. Creep me out, man.
It creeped you out, man? Okay. But I lost my place.
You don't know where you went.
I didn't go.
Sounded like it.
Hold on. Does God love me? Just trust me, the serpent whispered. Is that better? Okay. You don't need God. One small taste, that's all, and you'll be happier than you could ever dream. Just eat the fruit. Eve picked up the fruit, ate some, and Adam ate some too. And a terrible lie came into the world. It would never leave. It would live on in every human heart, whispering to every one of God's children, God doesn't love me. It was a lie, because God loves you very much. But it wasn't a dream, it was a nightmare. A dove flew from Adam's hand, a deer darted into a thicket. It was afraid. It was as if they were frightened by something. A chill was in the air. Something strange was happening. They had always been naked, but now they felt naked and wrong, and they didn't want anyone to see them. So they hid, and later that evening, as God was taking his walk, he called to them, "Children." And usually Adam and Eve loved to hear God's voice and would run to him, but this time they ran away from him and they hid in the shadows. Where are you? God called. Hiding, Adam said. We're afraid of you. Did you eat the fruit I told you not to eat? God asked them.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Adam said, Eve made me do it. What have you done? God asked. And Eve said, the serpent made me do it. And terrible pain came into God's heart. He was so sad. His children hadn't just broken the one rule, they had broken God's heart. They had broken their wonderful relationship with him, and now he knew everything else would break. God's creation would start to unravel and come undone and go wrong. From now on, everything wouldn't last, even though it was all supposed to last forever. You see, that disobedience and that lie had come into God's perfect world, and it would never leave. God's children would always be running away from him and hiding in the dark. Their hearts would break now and never work properly again. God couldn't let his children live forever, not in such pain and without him. There was only one way to protect them. You will have to leave the garden now, God told his children, his eyes filling with tears. This is no longer your true home. It's not the place for you anymore. But before they left the garden, God made some clothes for his children to cover them, and he gently clothed them, and then he sent them on their way, on their long, long journey out of the garden. Well, in another story, it would be all over. And that would have been that. It would have been the end. But not in this story.
No?
Nope, not in this one. God loves his children too much to let the story end there. Even though he knew he would suffer, God had a plan, a magnificent dream. One day he would get his children back. One day he would make the world their perfect home again. And one day he would wipe away every tear from their eyes. You see, no matter what, in spite of everything, God would love his children with a never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And though they would forget him and run from him deep in their hearts, God's children would miss him always and long for him. Lost children yearning for their home. Before they left the garden, God whispered a promise to Adam and Eve. It will not always be so. I will come to rescue you. And when I do, I'm going to do battle against that snake. I will get rid of all those lies and the dark and the sadness that you let in here. And I am coming back for you. And he would. One day, God himself would come back. All right, well, that's the end of our story for today. And that's taking us well into Genesis. And next time, we're going to look at one you've probably heard before.
What?
You know, the one about Noah.
Oh!
You like that one?
Yeah, the big old boat.
The big old boat.
Yeah.
The ark?
Yeah, it's a big boat.
Yeah, it's a big boat. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the story time, and that even in these difficult times when it's a little scary and it's kind of hard to figure out what we're supposed to do, and we can't go play with our friends and can't even go to church. And it's pretty scary. But God hasn't stopped loving you, and God is going to take care of you. And God will see you through.
What's that mean?
What's see you through mean? It means God will protect you and God will love you. And someday soon, we'll be able to go back outside and play with our friends, and we'll be able to go back to church, and we'll be able to pick things back up and move forward. Okay?
Cool.
Yeah, I think so. All right. I love you bunches and gobs.
Oodles and doodles.
See ya. Bye-bye.